covered a lot of internet weirdos, but this might be the first time I've stopped and said, oh no, you shouldn't be around people. Still, that's what happened with Leaping Lemur. Up until recently, might I say myself, Leaping Lemur was doing very well. His channel was growing fast. He had a loyal audience. He was inching towards 70,000 subscribers. No, I mean, he was a very good storyteller, and then everything fell apart overnight. He lost around 20,000 subscribers already, and it's only been like 2 weeks, which to me just says, oh, this isn't just some misunderstanding YouTube petty drama. This involves his ex, Lily, or Teeth Gums. She started posting screenshots and going live, and once people saw this information, support left Lemur real quick. If you don't know who Leaping Lemur is, he's a commentary YouTuber, so internet weirdos are kinda his thing. I mean, for me, what separated him from other creators was very much good storyteller. Also, though, he was very harsh. Like, I mean, I covered Nova Online, he covered Nova Online. I was like, oh, Nova Online's behavior is very inappropriate. He was like, yeah, and Nova Online is fat and ugly, etc. Which some creators might do it with nuance, but I feel like in his case, it was just mean. Although, maybe a little late for advice. Why are we making fun of people's weight and their looks when they're actually very problematic people? Looking back in hindsight, that was a red flag. Another might be people were kind of side-eyeing his interesting tweet choices. And then his relationship comes into focus. Lemur and Lily were dating online, and he was anything but subtle about it, which is valid. I mean, they're dropping under each other's posts like, oh, I love you. And then one day it was all just gone, which really took me back to those high school relationships. Please tell me I'm not the only one where you're posting like everything together, and then after the 1 month you were dating, you're like, I better delete that. Anyways, about 2 days after they broke up, Lemur posted an apology video, and his audience is like, what is even happening? What are you apologizing for? In the video, he explained, well, I mean, we've been dating for a few months now, and we decided to meet up in person. He took a trip over to see her in North Carolina. They stayed in a hotel together. He walks through the entire weekend from his point of view, and he very much frames it as, I mean, the relationship just went badly. But once more details came out, right, Lily started sharing her side. It became clear that this wasn't just a casual breakup. What starts to form is a picture involving alcohol, boundaries being pushed. Lily talking about not remembering parts that happened. Him brushing off serious concerns when she was doxxed. I'll also be putting on screen right now all these content warnings. If you don't want to stick around and watch this video, that's completely understandable. This isn't just like a cute drama video. And yeah, things start getting extremely concerning, so if you would like to support, give a thumbs up and subscribe, and let's get into it. But first, quick thank you to people who made my video possible. Teeth Gums, Himbleton, Pooh Boy. I'm so sorry. It looks like I hope I'm not pronouncing it wrong. Thank you. Major Chilla, and if I'm forgetting anyone, they will absolutely be in the description, because this video would not be possible whatsoever without your coverage, your screenshots, interviews.
All right, y'all, here we go. I had a feeling that I was gonna make this video once started going down with my ex, but I'm just doing it right now. I'm gonna get ahead of it. So like a few months ago, I had started dating somebody online, which isn't a good idea. Now I want to say during this relationship, I was like the best I possibly could be to this person. Like I gave them grace. They had made mistakes and I had let them make those mistakes. I had sat there and I tried, and this was just me trying to like do the best by my partner, you know what I mean? And like give them the space to grow and give them the space to fail and also succeed. But it just kept happening. Like bad things just kept happening one after another. In my opinion, I didn't do anything negative. I mean, we broke up, like that's how it goes. But then all this shit gets thrown at me. I'm like, what the fuck? few months ago, I had started dating somebody online, which isn't a good idea. But what also isn't a good idea is that I told them about my YouTube channel, which at the time didn't seem like a big deal because they were also posting stuff online. I thought they understood like Lolcow culture. I thought they understood content. They said that they watched me a lot. And I was like, cool, that's what's up. I told them that, you know, there's a risk to posting your face online. There's a risk to being associated with me. They said that that was cool. They were like, well, they didn't say that was cool, but they were like, oh, you know, that's crazy, that's insane, whatever. Now, I guess this is just me sort of being like naive or not really being in a lot of relationships, but I thought it was a good idea to start presenting this person on my channel. I'm young, I'm 21, I haven't been in many serious relationships, and it felt like this person had a strong connection to me. So I thought it was a good idea. Obviously learned my lesson, never gonna do that again, but what are you gonna do?
This story tells me everything about how Lemur, wants this story to go. Before you hear a single allegation, he's already telling you who to root for. He sounds calm. He's trying his best. He's being responsible. And she's just this vague source of bad things happening. What's doing the heavy lifting, however, is everything he doesn't say. He keeps talking about her mistakes and conveniently never says exactly what those mistakes were. Just vibes. I mean, just fill in the blanks for yourself and assume the worst. Then later in the video, he's gonna say, oh, well, I gave her alcohol even though she's legally not allowed to drink yet. Like, that's just a throwaway detail. Also, everything in this video is alleged for entertainment purposes only because this is only from what I could gather, so take everything with a grain of salt. He's framing it like, relax, I mean, we were just drinking together, which is wild because no amount of almost 21 makes that okay. There's no grace period with the law. Also, there's no grace period when you're in a hotel, when you're older, and already admitted that things got complicated. What really gets to me isn't even the choice itself, it is how quickly he just brushes it off. Anything uncomfortable just gets waved away. And when you step back, you realize this wasn't just a one-off. This is just how he handles things. He starts the video asking you to trust him and then spends the rest of it explaining why you shouldn't. This is just a side note. You know how a lot of YouTubers don't really post their partner online? It's not always because, oh, I mean, the partner's just a bit camera shy. The internet is full of absolute freaks. Not you, watching this video though, I'm sure you're fine. You're not a creep. But the internet is insane. We can agree people will dig. Lemur, I feel, of all people should know that. I mean, this is his lane, but if we had two consenting adults, I'm not gonna throw a fit over it. What happens next is the worst case scenario, I feel, and that is Lily got doxxed. Not even just like her first and last name, her school, her family, her full family, her work. The kind of doxing that would terrify a lot of people and make them vanish overnight. But she doesn't. She sticks around and she ends up getting yelled at for it. Instead of taking responsibility, he blows up her phone saying, I mean, yeah, that's the cost of dating someone like me. I mean, it sucks, but welcome to my life. That's the moment, I feel, where the mask slips. Because that ego kicks in. It's big promises. He's like, listen, if you stick with me, you're gonna have money. We're gonna move to California, have all these different pets, a whole future, and listen, stick with me and you might get a spot on my channel. This is where we get into the trip itself, where they actually met in person. Pay attention to how he talks about the drinking here, because this is one of those moments where something very serious is getting brushed off like it's no big deal.
We were chilling, we were doing our thing. Like, this is a girl that I don't drink. I just turned 21 not too long ago. I'm not gonna lie, I mean, everybody drinks before they turn 21, right? If you're like 19, 20, you go into a party, you're gonna drink. So I'm drinking. I mean, that's what I do. You know what I mean? Like, I chill, like I get chill when I drink, and everything's cool. Like, the first couple of nights were chill. go. And I'm like the third night, I don't know what happened with this girl, but I'm being honest with you right now. We drank. It wasn't, I don't even think, I mean, I wasn't that drunk. Maybe she drank more than me. Honestly, she knows what she's doing. You know what I mean? She drinks more than me. Like I said, before we even got into the relationship, I didn't really drink. A lot of people know this. I don't drink on stream. She's the one who was like, hey, you should start drinking. You're 21. I started drinking. So we're chilling. We're drinking. This girl goes and like we're laying in bed, just chilling. And she gets up randomly and starts looking at the wall, like looking at the wall on some like psychosis shit, like straight at the wall. And she starts saying like a bunch of shit that I don't even know what she's talking about. It's almost like she went through psychosis. And this is exactly what she told me herself happened. She said that she went through drunken psychosis. So she gets up and she starts saying, don't hit me, don't do this, don't do that, da 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 da, like random shit. And I'm far away from her on the other side of the bed, just staring at her like, what the I end up locking the key inside. I have to go down to the thing and get a key. So I go down to the thing and get a key. I walk back up. I let us in our room and she's just belligerent, like just going off, telling me I'm this, telling me I'm that. Obviously, like I'm not some kind of dude who's gonna sit there and take that on. Maybe she thought I was. Maybe it's because she was drunk. I don't know. But she started saying a bunch of shit and I'm like, you don't have to be here. Just go. I'm like kind of tired of hearing you talk shit. I'm trying to go to bed. And that set her off. She didn't like that I kicked her out of the hotel room. She got really angry and started slamming shit. I put down money on the hotel room or whatever the room. I put money on it. So, you know, her, like, if she starts slamming shit and breaking shit, obviously I'm gonna have to pay for it. So I'm like, what the I told her to get out. I'm like, you gotta get out of here. Like, you're slamming shit now. You really like, just go. I'll pack your stuff. I'll get you out. That made her mad. So she started hitting me. I'm not lying to you. Dead ass. I'll look you dead in the eye and tell me. And she bit my arm. Bit me. Maybe that's why they call her teeth gums. I don't know. Bit me, right? Like she started going through this crazy, and I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you?
Hey, so a few things in this story don't add up. One of them is how he's fixating on the idea that, I mean, she likes drinking more than I do. He brings this up over and over. You will not forget it. She drinks more. She's suggesting drinking. Circling back to the same question of, no, why does that matter? Even if that were true, it doesn't change anything about safety, consent, responsibility. No, I'm sorry. This is so sad that I have to say this. Someone enjoying alcohol doesn't suddenly make what happens afterward okay. And then there's the way he describes her mental state. He's using words like psychosis, crazy, not intelligent. He's trying to frame her as unstable. But at the same time, he's telling the story as though her distress is just inconvenient. If someone is dissociating, hallucinating, saying, "Don't hit me," clearly not grounded in reality, that's not someone you're gonna wanna argue with. Or kick out also. That's a safety concern. Which brings me to the part that absolutely stopped me. By his account, she's intoxicated, not okay, and in the middle of a breakdown. And I'm sorry, am I misunderstanding this? His solution was to kick her out of the hotel room, intoxicated, at night, probably in an unfamiliar place. And I just baffles me. Why didn't we call the police? Why didn't we call hotel security? Why wasn't the focus just making sure that everyone's safe? What was happening that we wouldn't have wanted to get help? Also, the drinking excuse doesn't really hold up either. He keeps saying, well, she pushed me to drink. I mean, I wasn't there. We have a 19-year-old saying, come on, just have one. I do have to say here, you don't have to drink, especially when you're the older person and already saying that things are getting complicated. That's the part I feel a lot of people are reacting to. Every single thing that happens is somehow her fault. She's crazy, she's drunk, she's the problem. It gets framed like a reasonable response to her behavior. Even if we were to give him every single benefit of the doubt, it still doesn't sit right. And if you've ever been in a situation like this where your fear and confusion are being flipped into being your fault, that's not normal, and you're not crazy for feeling off about it.
And when we went to bed, she started rubbing on my leg. I went to cuddle her, and I believe that maybe is what kind of instigated the experience that she felt. She was being because I definitely just turned over to cuddle her. Like, me and her both acknowledged this. I think that was probably the first time we cuddled that whole night, was when she rubbed my leg. So I turned around and lightly cuddled her. And before that, there was no, I feel uncomfortable. It just all led up to her throwing my arm over, getting up and saying, don't hit me. So it's kind of hard to interpret what she felt out of that situation when she doesn't tell me no, she doesn't push me off, and just starts kind of going crazy in my mind for no apparent reason. Also, keep in mind, this is the incident that led to her telling me that I did nothing wrong and nothing was my fault. That's also something that's very important to note here.
Next thing I know, like, we're tired, we're going to sleep. This is what I remember, by the way. We're going to sleep. And before all of this, though, like, I was telling him, like, I don't really feel comfortable the way he touches me. Like, he would literally extend his arm out and slap my, like, and grab it to where I was like, dude, stop. Like, stop. Like, I don't like it. Like, if you're listening to this, I know you are. I did tell you. And you know I did. I told you I was uncomfortable with it. And you did it anyway. Many times you said, oh, sorry, I'm just so clingy. I'm just so clingy. He would just excuse it with, oh, I'm just so clingy and you're just so... I don't know, like, are you even into me? Like, you didn't even ask me. And I was like, I basically told him, like, I just want to take things slow, like, please. But yeah, so back to the altercation. What I remember is we were in bed. He comes close to me, he gets in my face, and I kid you not, like, he grabs me, like, he puts me in a position where he's holding me, like, restraining me almost. Like as if I'm, like, I don't know, like an animal.
That's when the bite came into play, is it not?
I'm gonna be honest. The things those are nail engraves. A bite mark wouldn't be that red 3-4 days after. You know what I mean? It wouldn't look like.
Okay, so hold on. This is not feeling as much like a, oh, he said, she said situation anymore. This feels like they're not even describing the same nights. On his end, he keeps circling back to this idea of, well, she didn't say no in the way I expected her to. That's basically his whole defense. But when you actually listen to what she's saying, it's very different. She keeps saying that she told him she was uncomfortable more than once. She keeps saying, I asked him not to touch me in certain ways. She's saying she wanted to slow things down. And every time, it just gets framed as, well, I'm clingy, and gets flipped back on her like, well, are you even into me then? She's clearly stating she's not okay with it. Why is this getting brushed past? And just to be clear, not saying no does not mean explicit consent, especially when someone already said that they're uncomfortable. People don't always respond to stress by screaming or throwing hands. A lot of the time people freeze, or they'll get quiet, or they'll try to smooth things over because they're trying to keep the situation from getting worse. The idea of the only thing that counts is this loud, screaming, unmistakable no, that just doesn't line up with how life works. That's not always how people are gonna react so neatly for you when they're overwhelmed. This is another part that sticks with me. Consent isn't just about whether someone physically pushes you away at that exact second, especially when someone already stated that they're uncomfortable and when alcohol is involved, especially when they're tired or out of it or just trying to get through the night without making things worse. And now, not in this situation, right? Allegedly, in a hypothetical similar situation. If someone says, I don't like that, or can you slow down? And the response to that is basically keep going until they react more intensely. This isn't a misunderstanding. We're ignoring them. And okay, I might be misunderstanding this for real. I could be wrong. However, is his understanding, well, I mean, if she wanted, we talked about this beforehand, and she wanted to drink, so she must have wanted this. No. That's not how this works. I was unaware that liking to drink means that you're okay with everything that happens while you're drinking. That jump right there, that well, she drinks, to she must have wanted this. That is, grasping at assumptions just out of the air. Meanwhile, she's describing being scared, being overwhelmed, being physically restrained. That's a different picture here, isn't it? You don't have to stop and decide, who's right about every single detail to see a pattern here. One side keeps minimizing and says, well, why didn't she stop me harder? The other is explaining why she didn't feel safe to. Again, if this situation feels familiar to you, it's because this is how a lot of these situations get talked about after the fact. Not exactly like, what's that word? Accountability, but with technicalities. And then it gets worse. After everything blows up, audience, can we take a guess about, does he give her space? Does he, A, apologize, B, take ownership, or C, roll in messages saying, I miss you, the blanket smells like you, come back? That, ladies and gentlemen, is not fixing anything. It's pulling someone back in while they're still in this fight or flight mode before they've had time to think. She doesn't go back, she leaves most of her stuff there and waits until morning. And even then, she's still apologizing. She's trying to smooth things over and saying, no, everything's okay. And people love to grab onto those messages later and say, no, look, she was fine. But is that some rare and suspicious behavior on her part? No, that happens all the time. Sometimes people say things like that because they're scared. They just want everything to calm down. Sometimes you might even convince yourself like, well, they're saying that it was fine, so it must be fine. Sometimes you're exhausted and just don't have the energy to fight. Sometimes you're worried about what will happen if you don't smooth things over, especially when one person has more power in the situation. Or your brain can't even process what just happened. So yeah, saying I'm fine might feel better than continuing this at 3 in the morning. None of that means that anything was okay. They were just trying to make it through the moment. Now, this part's gonna be a little bit weird, but I do want to be clear that my experience has nothing to do with this situation, although I do want to put my input. I've been in a situation where it took actual years to recognize that what happened was wrong. The brain doesn't always store these memories neatly like a normal memory. It kind of breaks things up, and then years later you're thinking about it and you're like, no, what happened wasn't fine. You just don't have the language or clarity for it yet. So that's why, like, when you're gonna ask someone about a traumatic memory and they come up with uneven like results and you're gonna blame them for it, it's like, that's not like dishonesty. The person might actually not be putting the pieces together themselves. Now, like I said, we really can't tell it, you know, my story might have absolutely no relation to this story. But what's really great is he takes this as a green light to go on like everything's normal. Like, all right, everything's over, back to texting and expectations. Back to trying to manage everything, which is always framed like concern, but actually still feels like control. No, not everything lines up perfectly, but there are things that don't sit right. He's like, she never said she was uncomfortable. Then what's this message where she said she was? And here's where he starts pulling out screenshots. So listen to how he talks about her when they were originally talking about meeting up.
She's making it seem like I was some kind of like weird, pathetic guy who she didn't want, who wanted her. When in reality, like, the whole shit's flipped. She had no job. She had no car. She had no prospect in life. Nothing. She had nothing going for her at all. All she did was freak out on me. And here's the evidence of it. I mean, I have screenshot evidence. We have some more. I won't listen. I told her that she tried to fight me. Like, she tried to hit me. She says, I won't do it again. I won't, and I apologize. I miss you too. I hope you enjoyed my presence. I love you. I'm so sorry. I love you. I do. I'm so sorry for my stupidity. I'm going to be good. Here's this one. I'm sorry, please. I'm sorry for what happened to you. I'm sorry I ruined everything. I'm sorry I did shit. I'm sorry. All I can do is say sorry and move forward. Here's more, a bunch. This was when I wanted to leave her. I was ignoring her after she hit me. She goes, I love you. I know you're her. I'm just so sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have calmed down. I should have stopped. I should have just went to bed like I was supposed to. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That had nothing to do with you. It's that and the other, right? I am a pretty well-adjusted person. I don't have mental issues. Like, I don't have mental disorders. I'm a well-adjusted person. I've always been able to communicate with people. I've always been able to keep relationships. I am an ass at best. I am an ass. Talk shit, and I talk too much shit, and that's one thing you can get on me. I talk shit about too many people, and that's probably something I got to reflect on.
My grandma, my grandma's husband, my whole family, like just anybody we know, anybody, every address, every phone number, every place that I've worked in the past, every place my mom works. They literally have it in the archives on Kiwi Farms.
Okay,
I
so
just want to ask too, because
ahead.
we
I'm sorry.
know now. No, you're good, Chilla. I know it's a lot of us and we all have a lot of questions, but I'm just, as we go kind of in the timeline, because I think this is kind of important. So when you were telling him how upset you were about everybody getting doxxed, how was he reacting to that?
Sorry for himself.
was he
Oh,
yelling
that's
at you?
Oh my god. There was one time I was literally telling him I was upset. I kept hanging up on him. I'm thinking like, oh, a hang up button isn't that deep to me. Like, I can walk away from this situation and come back to it. Maybe I should have just said, okay, I'm gonna take time. But he calls
Sorry.
me and he screams at the top of his like to where maybe his neighbor could hear it, because I know my grandma heard it. He goes, why are you hanging up on me? And like a scream that a woman could feel in her chest. Like, it didn't feel right. Like, it didn't feel good.
She was sitting there telling me about how she always wanted to be a YouTuber, how she always wanted attention, and how she always craved attention. She said, she sat there and we were sitting down and she looked at me in the eye and she said, I would do anything to get that attention. And that's kind of, after I thought about that for a while, and I'm like, yeah, that's probably not a good thing, because then shit like this happens.
Lemur's grand plan was to make himself the biggest Lolcow YouTuber, because you and him were going to post the most content.
Basically, he wanted us to be like a sniper wolf in sausage.
Like
Right,
SS
reaction
Sniper
channel?
Wolf?
In sausage. Like, he said, oh, I'll be your sausage. You can be my sniper wolf, and I'll help you make content, and we can go live together. He was just like feeding it like to me. Like, I was just like, okay, cool. Okay, there would be many times we got in arguments, and I would tell him that he's moving way too fast, because he would promise things like that. He would literally be like, mind you, maybe 2 weeks into the relationship, he was like, oh, I'm trying to have you move out here. I'm trying to get engaged with you, this and that. We're going to make content together. We're going to have a house together. Like, just all this delusion. And I know it's fake. Like, at this point, like, it's just an online relationship to me.
Lily was good. Everything with my last girlfriend was pretty good. We had a pretty good relationship. We got into a few like small little arguments and it was fine. The big thing that happened was when I went to go see her in person. Some people may know that I went and seen her in person. She posted a picture of us. People all over the place were talking about it, right?
About how long after that did you guys plan the trip to actually meet each other in person?
Crazy enough, when I got doxxed and everything, he decided it would be a good idea to make plans to see me, so that I could, quote unquote, know that it was real and official, that he really loves me. I didn't like his personality at all. He was controlling. He would always try to buy me with a bag. You know what I mean? Like, he was always offering me things
That
so I could purchase
$1,500.
them. Not even that. He would buy
Hello,
me stuff on
baby.
TikTok, so that doesn't even include that. Like, he would just buy me separate things without giving me money. But he had just a weird person. Like, he would always bad talk his family, always bad talk people around him. But he would brag that he had like Rolexes.
Also, after the doxing, he's not like, hey, do you want to take a minute, step back? I don't know. He's like, no. You know what? Let's meet in person. He sells it as like a commitment. I'll fly out. We'll get a hotel. Let's finally make this real. Already, I feel that's a lot considering how messy everything was. The thing is, He flies out, and according to her, almost immediately things felt off. So at the airport, his bag got lost. And apparently, according to her, he was like screaming at the employees. It was almost embarrassing enough to the point where she just left him right there. Because like, imagine you fly out to meet someone in person finally, and they start screaming at someone. It's like either they think this is okay or they somehow are trying to impress me. I don't know. It's just not a good look. Or even worse yet, that's just how they are. Anyways, they go to the hotel, and on the way is where he stops and buys a ton of alcohol. So I'm struggling to debate this part, right? Because he's 21, she's 19. There's a lot of drinking. And again, his argument is pretty much, well, we were both drinking, she wanted it, she pressured me, which is so funny because it's like, double standard much, if this even were like true. But that doesn't really work. Him being, oh, well, he's only 21, it doesn't make it fine. Also, you're not like some clueless kid either. And even if he were, where does this make it okay? Even in his own clips and texts, he admits to buying the alcohol. He admits he was drunk, and here's another fun thing. This happened over multiple nights. So then, no matter which way you're gonna try to frame it, this isn't a misunderstanding. This is the exact same situation just repeating itself every night. And that's why people are reacting the way they are. Because even in the most generous version of his story, he could have stopped and didn't. Now, after his video came out, Lily was like, I'm gonna post some screenshots. Not even just a few, a lot. Now, Lily, you know, we're valid in sharing this information either way, I feel, whether it was before or after, but if it did, in fact, happen afterwards that she shared the screenshots, it's like, what the hell did he think was gonna happen? That, like, he's gonna make this video saying, no, she's crazy, everyone, don't listen to her, she might come out with screenshots she probably wouldn't have in the first place if you... Anyway, quickly, people realize that a lot of what is in these screenshots does not line up with what he's saying. In these screenshots, there is repeated talk of, roleplay. It was roleplay. Specifically asking her to RP as, his sister more than once, and every time she shuts it down, he's just like, I mean, relax, it's just a joke. I mean, if you're gonna push the same joke over and over, and it's like, it hasn't been funny, it wasn't funny the first time, it just feels like not a joke, but allegedly. Also, other YouTubers have pointed it out, and listen, I don't know, but he does share a small apartment with his younger sisters. I'm just stating a fact, completely unrelated. Right after she shares those screenshots, he does damage control and records yet another video on December 25th. I can just imagine him on Christmas. Hey Lemur, you gonna come out and open presents with us? No, I'm doing damage control. His claim of like, well, she has no evidence, that's not really working right now. Because once you see the messages, I mean, his side is starting to feel real weak. There are texts where he's allegedly threatening her before anything even went down. Something like, if I find you with another guy, I'm gonna end your... So that's not something we're gonna brush off. Then there's the constant clinginess. Wanting her on the phone all the time, getting upset when, I don't know, she has a life. He's treating work and responsibilities she has like excuses not to talk to him. And the messages swing back and forth non-stop. One minute it's like, I miss you, you know, I'm just gonna sit here really sad until you are done with work and we can call. And the next minute it's guilt tripping and pressure. It's honestly just exhausting to read. And when it's not emotional pressure, it turns sexual. Talking about how, listen, you think I'm obsessed now? Well, after we see each other in person, woo, you don't even know. Yeah, I don't know, like, there's like cute relationship like obsession, and then there's whatever this is that's not healthy. Then comes the whole provider fantasy. He's talking about how like, listen, when we're together, when we're married or whatever, I'm gonna take care of us. To the point where, now, correct me if I'm wrong, she quits her job thinking that she can now rely on him. Now, the money is being flexed here. You're like, okay, how much money we talking here? $3,000 in his savings? Now listen, in this economy, right, that's not that bad. However, is this really like life-saving money? Now cut when he gets back to California, he's telling his family, this was an amazing trip. Like, it was perfect. Lily is the one. No, conveniently, he does leave out those bad parts. And that just leaves us viewers wondering, like, what's going on in his head at this moment? Does he legit think that, like, listen, YouTube is not, for a lot of people, like a lifelong job? So did he really believe this, or was he just trying to feel important? We'll never know. So again, message after this vacation, he's like accusing her of cheating. And the way he got there was iconic and beautiful. It was off of TikTok. He saw a TikTok where someone was like, listen, if your partner puts their phone on silent or not, they must be cheating on you. So he was like, oh, okay, this is my proof that she's been talking to her ex this whole time. Which is also wild to note that his entire online persona is calling out people who be taking TikToks too seriously. But then when it fits what he wants to believe, it's shaped as proof. So that point did end up being the breaking point. She's done, she ends things, and then everything starts to spiral. At first, it's the ego stuff. Lemur saying bad stuff about her ex, and then he's saying, like, listen, I'm gonna be the best she's ever had. Like, yes, I'm sure dating online for months and then meeting for a weekend in a hotel is for sure gonna be the peak of her dating life. That just, honestly, it sounds like somebody desperately, their insecurities talking. When that doesn't work, the tone shifts. The messages get heavier, more manipulative, and you start seeing these vague and ominous threats. Nothing super specific, but also just like, man, if you stop talking to me, like, something super bad could happen. And does that work? No. So he turns to alternative measures. There's a lot of jealousy and resentment, and you're just feel that bleeding into his apology video. He's technically apologizing, but he does not sound reflective whatsoever. He's very mad, in my opinion, very mad that she moved on, very mad that she left. Also very mad, most of all, that he no longer has control over the story. And honestly, that's the pattern across all of this. When something doesn't go his way, he doesn't take accountability, he escalates. Escalations turn into guilt tripping turns into threats, and then it snaps back to rage, which just eerily to me, it feels like someone desperately trying to hold on to control.
Do you think that you did anything wrong giving Lily alcohol?
Yeah, I think that I shouldn't have. I think that in terms of her being 19 and me being 21, I shouldn't have. But there's also a 2-year age difference, and we were also boyfriend and girlfriend, and that's kind of what boyfriend and girlfriend do. I had just turned 21 4 months ago. I think that it was stupid of me, like optically, to even think that that was a good idea. And I even said that one time on TikTok to her. I'm like, hey, and she was like, it's fine. I do it all the time. I want to get drunk with my boyfriend, please. And me being a simp, I was like, it's fine. You know, she wants to get drunk. She's cool. She gets drunk, she should be fine. You know, I'd been on call, like FaceTime call with her, so I thought she could handle her liquor. And that was just my bad. Like, it was stupid. Like, optically, it looks bad. Yeah, to give an underage person alcohol, but...
Okay. Well, Lily decides to speak publicly. She decides, I'm gonna go on a live stream and tell my side of the story, where I did wake up one day disoriented. There was no clear memory of the night before, and she couldn't even piece together whether anything bad happened to her. That realization did send everything spiraling.
This is where the story gets a little weird because he starts throwing up. I'm taking care of him, but at the same time, I don't feel good either. Yeah. And then I start to not remember the night. This is when the crazy part happens. This happened on the first night, mind you. All I really remember is that I got so drunk to the point where he's throwing up. I'm sick. I'm not feeling well. I don't know what happened, but I'm just going to cut to the point where I wake up because I'm telling you right now, I do not remember what happened besides me taking care of him. I wake up and I'm naked.
Okay.
Mind you, I don't know why I am, but me as a person, I respect myself enough to know that I shouldn't be on the first night.
This is the part that sticks with me because is it dynamic? No, it's quiet. And that's almost worse. She's talking about the first night. He's throwing up. She's taking care of him. She's not feeling too hot either. And her memory just cuts out. Not fuzzy or blurry, just gone. And then she wakes up the next day with no clothes on. I'm not here to tell you what happened in those hours that she cannot recall. None of us can. However, waking up in that situation, you have no memory of how you got there. That's not nothing. I feel like that might take you a long time to even process, let alone explain. Something interesting though is how she's talking about it. She's not coming in hot. She's not like, oh, trying to make herself sound perfect. She doesn't even seem like she's really blaming him. She's just confused. She's trying to line up with what she experienced, what happened, with what she already knows about herself. That's a really uncomfortable place to be. I mean, it doesn't mean that she's, automatically correct about everything. But it does, however, sound like someone trying to process something. Not just someone reciting this clean and rehearsed story. She's not like confidently declaring, this is what happened. She's explaining, no, this doesn't make sense to me, this messed with my head, and honestly, that makes sense. On the Hambleton live stream, however, Lemur did go into detail about that night.
I don't know. I don't just fucking want to really describe it too much, but like, she over, and then I was a little bit, and then she started backing herself into me type shit. That's what I mean when I say she is that she was like backing herself into me, and then we finished. I got up, and she cleaned herself off. I can't, maybe we chilled for a little bit longer and then we went to bed.
There's no need to repeat it. You heard it. It's also interesting, though, how he tells the story. He remembers it so clearly, like step by step clear. At the same time, she's saying, well, she doesn't remember that night at all. I'm not saying that memory alone proves anything. However, the gap is extremely uncomfortable. When one person is blacked out and the other person is recalling a full recap, that's not a normal dynamic. Listen to what he's focusing on. It's all about what she did, how she moved, how it ended. He's like, listen, if I insert all of this proof, like, hey, if I go into extreme detail that was not necessary, that's proof that everything was fine. But there's basically no thought given to her state. Whether, I don't know, she was present, I don't know, if she knew what was happening. Even if you take it at face value, it still got you sitting there like, how do we feel confident in ourselves recalling this story when the other party doesn't remember anything?
This is my 18-year-old girlfriend. For full transparency, I have just recently turned 21 and Lily has just recently turned 19. There is a 2-year age difference between us. It's not a big gap at all. There wasn't a big age difference between us or some kind of power dynamic that went into play as far as the age difference goes. Boyfriend and girlfriends drink together. Optically, is this an excuse? No, it looks horrible. To give an underage person alcohol looks horrible. But realistically, a boyfriend and girlfriend are going to drink. And it's okay, especially if they're 2 years apart. And I have text messages that contradict her not enjoying it. I mean, she texted me afterwards, literally the day after, telling me that she enjoyed on me and that it was cool that she made me. In none of those instances did she tell me that what I did made her feel uncomfortable, that she felt as though she was essayed, that she felt as though I had forced anything onto her. She never said anything like that. She came back and said that she enjoyed it. She wanted to come back the next day to get her stuff. We came back and we tried our best to make up. The only time that she said she ever felt uncomfortable during contact was when people on Kiwi Farm started to ask her about it, and they told her that she must have felt uncomfortable or that it must have been bad because she was drinking with me. The only time Lily did state she was uncomfortable was during her state of what she describes as drunken psychosis. It seemed as though I'm some kind of weird creep who pushed things on her, when at no time did she tell me sexual contact made her feel uncomfortable or she didn't enjoy our time together. This whole thing, she was completely losing lucid. She was able to say yes or no, push me off. She was walking around the bed. We were both drunk, don't get me wrong, but we were both lucid enough to move around the room. I helped Lily to the shower because she wanted to take a shower, and she was able to get up out of the shower, and I was able to help her to bed. In this portion, Lily describes both of us as really drunk. She even says at one point I was throwing up. I would argue that on the first day, I was way more drunk than Lily was. I was hammered, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I hadn't eaten all day. I just came off this flight and she wanted to drink. So I decided, cool, let's drink. I was really drunk and I ended up almost passing out. Like I was barely able to help her to the shower because I myself was about to pass out.
All I'll say is, in the response video, he claims that you are a very heavy drinker and you can handle your liquor very well, and that he's not a big drinker and he can't handle his very well, and he kind of uses that to defend himself a little bit.
That's true,
so
yeah.
I just wanted to ask, because you're the way that you're talking about you blacked out the first night, that doesn't sound like it's probably accurate.
I definitely blacked out because he literally told me like, oh, you were crawling on the floor. He was throwing up on the first night. He was throwing up. I was gone. Like, I don't even remember what happened. He told me I took a shower, that I was just crawling on the floor, that I was basically, like, I don't remember. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, he told me that and my jaw was on the floor. Like, I'm like, I did what? I did what now? Like, what do you mean?
All right, now pause here. I mean, his framing of the story is really showing. He's like, all right, step back though and recall the age gap. Like, listen, if our age gap is small enough, like we were 19 and 21, I mean, that age gap is so small that none of this should have mattered. But what? What's happening around that age gap is actually what matters. Not the age gap is irrelevant. Like, why does age gap matter? If this was completely all right, everything was fine, why would it matter if she's 19 and you're 40? And like, boyfriend and girlfriends drink together, how does that make it okay? Especially when one person's 19, they haven't eaten, they've been drinking, then of course wakes up not remembering anything at all. Like I said, it at best sounds like someone trying to justify something, not someone who stopped when they should have.
Now, it has to be noted that Lemur is a self-professed liar. In the previously mentioned stream with Tarman, Lemur would say that he lies about a lot of small stuff just to make himself look better. And it's not even just small stuff. Lemur has proven that he'll lie about anything just to get out of a situation or to make himself feel better. A very specific situation was while on livestream, which has been lost to time, but I've seen comments of people there, and we have Teeth Gums recounting of events where Lemur said the N-word, and as a Hispanic gentleman, he knew that was frowned upon, so in a haste, instead of apologizing like a normal human being and accepting what comes after, he lied to his audience, claiming to be black for no other reason than he wanted to lie his way out of a situation.
I was in his live stream and he told me he was drinking. He was already drunk. Like, he was drinking and all that, and he was like, I'm on the phone with my bank because, I mean, I gotta call my bank. I don't know, they called me about something and I was handling that. And then I go in my messages and I'm like, hey, what happened? And he's like, did you hear that? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, what did you say? And he said, you know, the N-word. And I was like, no way, like, what the frick? Like, and he's like, and he explained it to me. He was like, I don't know, like, I haven't been live in so long that it was just, you know, part of his vocabulary. So he said it. That's all I can really. Oh, and then he was telling me how, you know, I was like, what did you do? Like, what did they say? He said that, I think somebody said something, but they didn't really care. I guess he was like, oh, well, they said something, and I cleared it up and said, oh, yeah, I'm black, you know, I'm mixed.
And out of all the things that Lemur has been exposed for doing in the last couple of months, this seemed like the least of it all, so I kept it at the end of the video, and that's Lemur was trash-talking myself and many other creators in his niche, calling me a 27-year-old with nothing going on.
Now listen, there's a lot of clips, there's a lot of lives and videos and apologies, and it's just weird to me how the hole just keeps getting deeper the more he talks. Not on purpose, he just keeps going. He's trying to fill space. He's like, well, maybe if I say this, like, everyone will finally understand. In his efforts to get control back in the story, he ends up doing the opposite. Also, let's go ahead and play this next part, because when you hear the context, this context it feels a little different.
Lily claims that she like woke up naked, and you claimed that you like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, are you able to kind of respond to that, or like give more context,
Totally.
like why that happened?
Totally. So me, like, I'm gonna actually send you a screenshot right now.
Okay.
Lily was planning for me she wanted me to give her alcohol. She wanted us to get drunk. Here's one like 4 days before it happened. I'm not gonna lie, like I cut out a little bit of me being cringy because we were low-key kind of getting a little, like I'm not one to share that kind of shit. But it's pretty obvious, like, this is the conversation we had. It's well in context. You can understand. We finna get drunk this Friday, right? So what does that make you feel, Tarman, when you hear this girl come on stream and acting as though I fed her alcohol and I sexually assaulted her when she knew the fact that we were going to drink and we were going to have sex?
All right.
I'm probably going to try to grow as a person. This was a shitty relationship. Me and Lily should not have gotten together. That's the first step I'm going to take. I like making content, and all my shit's already out there. Me and you both know that, dog. Like, you know, all my shit's already out there. So
I know very well. Yeah, me and Lily are like best
Yeah.
friends right now.
yeah, exactly. I think me deleting everything at this point, it doesn't even matter. Like, I could have did that. I should have did that a long time ago, I guess. At this point, I want to keep making the content I love, and I want to learn and grow.
It's not like people are gonna care. Come on.
I texted her during the stream because she came on Tarman's stream saying I like raped her, and me and her both know that that's not true.
The thing has been kind of going on for like a day or so. He had time.
I have been super busy.
I have no idea why you've just been like kind of sitting around not responding.
It doesn't make you look good, Lemur, because everybody thinks you raped her.
Yeah, I just didn't know. Hold on one second.
Notice what he does the second it's brought up that she woke up with no clothes on. He doesn't respond to that. He immediately pivots to when, we were talking about drinking. What is this argument? She knew we were gonna be drinking, therefore, everything else is excused? Like, where did we, I'm struggling. Where did we answer the question that was asked? And also, what throws me off is how fast the vibe changed. 1 second, we're talking about something unbelievably serious, and the next it's like, so, about my content. Like, why are we talking about McDonald's? I'm confused. Are we trying to, like, talk past how uncomfortable the situation is? Is it? I don't know. Is it hard to sit in? Also, well, she knew we were gonna wink wink. Like, what? What? Since when does agreeing to something way before the fact, and then like, how does that mean it's okay? Yeah, so I don't know if that still stands when we're sick and drunk and not fully there. Listen, I'm not saying that the screenshots are irrelevant. I'm just saying the way her side of the story was immediately, it just disappeared. He pivots onto his image and his plans. It just feels off. Right here is the moment where things kind of tank his credibility. When defending himself, he casually is like, I be lying all the time. At least he's admitting that he's a liar? This is insanity, bro. Like, I lie all the time, but about this, you're gonna wanna believe me.
Yeah. Why did you lie about being black?
I like I said, that's gonna go back into the thing where like sometimes I just be lying. Like I had said,
You just lie about stupid shit for no reason, huh?
yeah, I had said not the N word with a hard R, but I'm Mexican. Around here in California, we say that. We be saying that shit. So I had said it, and then I was like, fuck it, I was like, yeah, I'm black, guys. Like, I don't know, bro.
So this whole exchange is pure chaos. Instead of locking in and being careful, which is something you'd expect when the topic is that serious, he's just treating it like, a normal hangout stream. Joking, rambling, oversharing, correcting himself every few seconds. And then he casually drops that he lies sometimes for no reason, which is a wild thing to volunteer when your entire defense relies on people believing your version of events. At that point, it's not even about the lies. It's about the pattern. He can't even tell when something is supposed to be taken seriously. And he can't stay consistent for long enough for anything to feel solid. Meanwhile, the hosts are basically walking him into admission without even trying. They're asking basic questions and he's filling in way more than he needed to. And suddenly, the whole thing is starting to feel like someone talking themselves into a corner. The most iconic part of this whole video is that he doesn't even notice. He thinks, I'm explaining myself, I'm just clearing things up. From the outside, however, it looks like he's unraveling in real time. Which is also, like, this was live, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, everyone, but like, the confidence of this person to just go on live. Also, I don't know about what's going on with the hosts, but it also does feel like this is the moment where it's like, instead of let's hear him out. It's like, so that's why people are struggling here. And it's all caught in 4K on stream.
Another person in chat says, how does it feel becoming a lolcow?
I think lolcows make themselves. To become a lolcow, I think a lot of being a lolcow has to do with your reaction to the things that happen to you and your reaction to, I guess, just everyday life.
Is it because you're too busy buying McDonald's? That's why you can't do research?
Everybody eats fast food, dog. Lily has a few messages of me saying that.
But you eat like $70 worth of it. Come on, I don't eat $70 worth of McDonald's.
I bought me, let me tell you, I bought me and Lily $60 worth of McDonald's. That's what she said, right? Of McDonald's. I got
68 if you want to be specific, yeah.
Yeah. And do you know who else ate that McDonald's?
You're fine. Probably did.
Dog, Lily ate, I'm going to tell you right now, Lily ate 2 McChickens with pickles, fries, and then we had pizza left over. She went back and got a plate and ate pizza and put it on top of that.
And what did you eat? What'd you eat?
I had 2 burgers and fries. Dude, I lost so much weight. I'm going to be honest with you.
What's your weight? What's your weight, Lemur? I want to know.
Right now, I'm 250. Dead ass. I was 300 pounds though. I got down to like 200, and then shit happens, bro. I'll be back on that grind though. I will keep Kiwi Farms updated on my weight loss journey though. Don't worry, bro. I need to clean my cords so bad, or my cords are not clean. I need to organize them. Holy shit. I honestly don't feel I'm as big as Nova, like maybe weight-wise I am.
So, I don't know. Listen, Lily did end up leaking his face and his name and his weight? I think, right? I think. And normally, I think it was Lily. Anyways, it is now public. And normally, why are we talking about that? Why are we talking about looks or weight? However, it is interesting that this is what he's built his entire platform on. Because his whole channel revolves around ripping at other people for being unhealthy, unhygienic, overweight. He's going after creators like Nova Online while also being 300 pounds? Which, it's not okay, I feel, to make fun of weights if you're 300 pounds or you're a healthy weight. Which, it doesn't matter your weight, right? It's like, why? I just feel like being a bigger person, being the bigger person is not the issue here. Nobody deserves to be mocked for their body. However, the hypocrisy is interesting. You don't, get to build an audience making fun of people for things that you also might be dealing with while acting morally superior and above it. But it's so funny because in his mind, it's like, well, listen, Nova is probably shorter than me, and mine's probably mostly just muscle anyway. Which ties neatly into how this whole stream went off the rails. Instead of, I don't know, answering what people are asking him, he turns everything into chaos. Suddenly, we're talking about McDonald's orders. Who's eating more fast food? Who's fat? Like, what? And I'm seriously sitting here like, how did we get here? This isn't a low stakes hangout, let's talk about McDonald's. This is a serious situation. You can watch it. It's iconic to watch in real time how nothing gets answered and he jokes his way out of it. It's this classic deflection. What also stood out is how quickly he is talented at changing the subject. And then he's comparing himself to other people. He's like, well, I'm not Nova. Imagine saying like, hey, I'm not Jeffrey you know what I'm saying? So that makes you the best because you're lowering the bar so low. And then Lily keeps getting dragged back into it for what reason again? What she ate, how much she ate, what she did. Now, I don't think this was the point of the conversation, but like, whoever ate less McDonald's is somehow morally superior? And I need to say this because I do think it matters. I don't think, like, I'm not a psychologist. This is all Michelle's armchair gross psychology. I don't think he's sitting there like, that's the scariest part, like twirling his mustache like I'm gonna lie about this. I think, and this is like completely my opinion again, he genuinely believes that either he was justified or that he didn't do anything wrong or that lying is worth, like if I put on a good enough show, then everyone will believe me because I'm just so charming. And that's what makes it so messy, that everything is framed around his perspective. This is what I remembered. This is how I was feeling. This is what I felt and what made sense to me in the moment, and any other version of events is simply false. Once he decides, I didn't do anything wrong, everything else is filtered through that conclusion. So if he remembers the night clearly, then that must be proof that everything was fine. She sent positive texts afterward, that must be confirmation. She didn't say no in the exact way I expected, so therefore I didn't do anything wrong. Anything that doesn't fit his story gets changed or brushed off. And that's actually very common. Most people don't sit there thinking of themselves as the villain. And yet, 1 in 3 women report having experienced some sort of sexual violence in their lifetime. So instead of telling himself like, maybe I should have stopped sooner, did I misread this? They might look for reasons why I couldn't have been wrong. You hear it in the way his explanations keep shifting. 1 minute it's, well, we were both totally lucid, and then, well, no, I was more drunk than she was. You're trying to desperately protect the idea that I didn't do anything wrong. There's multiple reasons why people might do this. And when someone is emotionally insecure and very immature, that self-defense is turning into tunnel vision. There is no understanding. There is, I need to protect my image at all costs. So yeah, I think maybe he believes himself because maybe he didn't feel malicious. But say it with me, class, intent is not the same as impact. The gap right there between what you meant and what someone else experienced, right there, is where most of the damage lives. Now, with my very little knowledge of psychology, there is something interesting called cognitive dissonance. Now, believe it or not, most people see themselves as generally good when something bad you did. Now, listen, I'm not trying to psychoanalyze here. I'm just saying, like, in similar situations, like, in all seriousness, because frankly, I don't know enough about the situation, or their minds. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way to know, but just for us, for situations like this, when you did something bad, it might be natural for your brain to try to resolve that discomfort. It's often easier to reinterpret events in your head than saying, I hurt someone. There's also like this thing with a certain community, I don't understand, where there's this normalization of certain behaviors. You might be like, well, I mean, my buddy did the same thing and we just laughed it off at the bar. Everyone does this. That's just how relationships are. It wasn't a big deal. Also, and this is a big one because he was, I'm sure, making some money off of YouTube. So just imagine, like, on top of admitting that you're wrong, you're also facing losing a career. I don't know, there could be legal or social consequences. You don't want to lose reputation or be seen as that person. So your brain might really quick choose self-preservation, even if it's subconscious. Additionally, I do think overall, there does need to be greater education on consent. I don't want to be giving like a whole lesson on my channel. However, to my understanding, there needs to be an excited yes, not like a yes, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, other than that, that's kind of where this whole thing lands. What makes this leaping lemur situation very uncomfortable is how the more he talked, the harder it was to ignore the patterns. And at some point, it just felt like someone who's struggling to keep their story straight, frankly. And again, I must say, this isn't some final verdict, Michelle expose, because I wasn't there, none of us were. If more comes out down the line, or if something genuinely changes, okay, that's worth looking at. But based on what we're seeing right now, for the time being, the chapter certainly feels a bit closed. And in situations similar, that's usually how things end. Just people checking out once trust is gone. Also, another thank you to all of these wonderful creators for everything, for researching, for interviews. Your links will be in the description. And thank you. If you made it to the very end, first of all, respect. Second of all, you know, take care of yourself. This wasn't just like a cute little drama video once again. Also, if you, I can't say if you liked the video, because who liked this video? Also, just consider hitting the thumbs up button. It is free. And it helps the channel. If you want more deep dives like this, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Drop a comment if you have any thoughts, although do keep it civil. And comment below a bird emoji. I don't care what kind of bird. It can be a parrot, a bluebird, I don't know, so that I know you made it to the end. All right, that's it from me. I love you guys, and peace out. Take care of yourselves.